Hey everyone, welcome again. Today it's our second day of reading. We are on the page number 10. So let's start reading. Hawaii vs. Vesey is an example where the quotation of price was held not to be an offer. The defendants in this case were the owners of a plot of land known as Bumper Hole Pen. The plaintiffs, being interested in purchasing the same, sent a telegram to the defendants. Will you sell your bumper hole pen? Telegraph lowest cash price. The defendants in reply telegraphed lowest price for bumper hole pen is £900. The plaintiffs sent another telegraph to the defendants saying, we agree to buy bumper hole pen for £900 asked by you. Please send us your title deeds. The defendants refused to sell the land. In a suit, the plaintiffs contended that the second telegram from the defendants quoting lowest price was an offer, and the same had been accepted by the plaintiffs, and the contract was complete. The defendants, on the other hand, contended that quoting the price was not an offer which could be accepted. The Judicial Committee of Privy Council held that exchange of the above stated telegrams had not resulted in a contract. It was observed that first telegram had asked two questions, one regarding willingness to sell and the other regarding quoting of the price, other regarding the lowest price. In the reply, only lowest price was quoted, and this quoting of price was not an offer. The third telegram from the plaintiff saying we agreed to buy was only an offer and not the acceptance of an offer. Since this offer had not been accepted, there was no binding contract between the parties. So friends, हम सभी इम्पोर्टेंट केसेस को और कंटेंट को ही कवर करेंगे, ठीक है. तो इस पेज का कंटेंट हमारे लिए यहाँ पे हो जाता है कंप्लीट. नेक्स्ट वी हैव टू मूव ऑन पेज नंबर page number 13. Intention to create legal relationship. In order that an offer after acceptance can result in a valid contract, it is necessary that the offer should be made with an intention to create a legal relationship. Promise in case of social engagements is generally without an intention to create legal relationship. Such an agreement therefore cannot be considered to be a contract. Thus, an agreement to go for a walk, to go to a movie, to play some game or to entertain another person with a dinner cannot be enforced in a contract. तो बेसिकली हमें यहाँ पे क्या समझ आता है कि एक ऑफ़र को अगर एक्सेप्टेंस के बाद हमें कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में चेंज करना है तो that offer and both acceptance must have been made with an intention to create legal relationship. What happens sometimes, the parties may expressly mention that it is not a formal or legal agreement, whereas in some other cases such an intention could be presumed from their agreement. The test to know the intention of parties is objective. That is, it could be understood from the circumstances and not subjective merely because the promisor contends that there was no intention to create legal obligation would not exempt them from liability. In Rosenfrank Corporation versus Crompton and Bros Limited, the agreement between the parties to the contract provided that agreement is not entered into as a formal or legal agreement and shall not be subject to legal jurisdiction in the law courts. The agreement will be carried through by the parties with mutual loyalty and friendly cooperation. One of the parties made a breach of this contract in an action by the other party to enforce the agreement. It was held that since the agreement had provided that it was not a formal or legal agreement, the same was not enforceable. Next, we must understand that an intention not to create legal relationship may be implied from the circumstances of the case. In case of Balfour versus Balfour, the defendant, who was employed on a government job in Ceylon, went to England with his wife on leave. For health reasons, wife was unable to accompany the husband again to Ceylon. The husband promised to pay £30 per month to the wife as a maintenance for the period she had to live apart. The husband failed to pay this amount, was sued by the wife for the same. It was held that there was no intention to create legal relationship. The husband was not liable. Atkin Justice observed that it is necessary to remember that there are agreements between parties which do not result in contracts within the meaning of term in our law. The ordinary example where two parties agree to take a walk together or where there is an offer and acceptance of the hospitality. Nobody would suggest in ordinary circumstances that those agreements result in what we know as a contract. One of the most usual forms of agreement which do not constitute a contract appears to me to be the agreements which are made between husband and wife. To my mind, those agreements, or many of them, do not result in contracts at all, even though there may be what, as between other parties, would constitute consideration. There are not contracts between the parties, did not intend that they should be attended by legal consequences. So let's now move on to page number 15, and we have the topic of offer must be communicated. Section 2A of Indian Contract Act 1872 explains that person is said to make a proposal when he signifies to another his willingness to do or to abstain from doing something. The emphasis here is upon the requirement that willingness to make a proposal should be signified. The term signify means to or communicate to make known. It thus requires that the offer must be communicated to the person, that is the offeree. Offer how communicated? The question as to how an offer is communicated is explained in section 3 of the Act 1872. This says that communication of proposal is deemed to be made by an act or omission or the party proposing by which he intends to communicate such proposal or which has the effect of communicating it. It thus follows that an offer may be communicated by the offerer by an act or omission by which the offerer intends to communicate such offer or which has the effect of communicating the offer. Thus, an offer may be made by the words of mouth or by writing or by conducting in a manner which has the effect of communicating the offer to the offeree. The offer therefore may be an express, that is, which is made by some positive act on the part of offerer, or it may be implied offer, which is inferred from the conduct of the offerer. Next we have express and implied offers. Section 9 of Indian Contract Act 1872 says that in so far as the proposal or acceptance of any promise is made in words, the promise is said to be express. In so far as such proposal or acceptance is made otherwise than in words, the promise is said to be implied. An offer would be an express offer when it is made by words of mouth or by writing. Implied offer, as explained in section 9 above, an offer made otherwise than in words is said to be an implied offer. It is an offer inferred from the conduct of the party. For example, a bid at an auction is an implied offer. In such a case, the conduct may take the place of written or spoken words in the offer, and the intention of the party is a matter of inference from his conduct, and the inference is more or less easily drawn according to the circumstances of the case. For example, where a tramway company runs trams on a particular route, the company is said to make an offer to carry intending passengers over the route at scheduled fares. The offer of the company is an implied offer. Likewise, a person who boards a bus or who hires a taxi, whereby he undertakes to pay the fare to his destination, even though he makes no express promise to do so, or where a person who puts a coin in an automatic machine enters into a contract with the supplier, although no words have been used. Next topic we have communication of offer when complete. As we have discussed above, an offer to be valid must be communicated. Further, it must be communicated to the person or the persons to whom it is made. Section 4 of Indian Contract Act 1872 says that the communication Section 4 clearly states that the communication of proposal is complete when it comes to the knowledge of the person to whom it is made. It thus follows that an offer cannot be accepted unless it has been brought to the knowledge of the person to whom it is made. To put it otherwise, A cannot be said to make an offer to B unless A brings the offer to the knowledge of B. B cannot said to have accepted the offer even if he acts according to the term of the offer. Thus, acting in ignorance of an offer does not amount to the acceptance of the offer. Please note it down, this line is very important. Thus, acting in ignorance of an offer does not amount to acceptance of the offer. Here we have an important case law, that is Lalman Shukla versus Gauri Dutt. In this case, the defendant's nephew absconded from home. The plaintiff, who was defendant's servant, was sent to search for the missing boy. After the plaintiff had left in search of the boy, the defendant issued handbills announcing a reward of rupees 501 to anyone who might find out the boy. The plaintiff, who was ignorant of this reward, was successful in searching the boy. When he came to know of the reward which had been announced in his absence, he brought an action against the defendant to claim his reward. It was held that since the plaintiff was ignorant of the offer of reward, his act of bringing the lost boy did not amount to the acceptance of the offer, and therefore he was not entitled to claim the reward. If a person has the knowledge of the offer, his acting in accordance with the terms thereof amounts to the acceptance of the same. In such a case, it is immaterial that at the time of accepting the offer, the acceptor did not intend to claim the reward mentioned in the offer. So, what is important here, that the offer must come to the knowledge of the person accepting the same. It doesn't matter whether he intend to claim the reward provided by the offerer or not. Only important thing is that it must have come to his knowledge that there has been a kind of offer. If he fulfills the conditions of that offer, he might be entitled to claim a reward. Next we have cross offers, and this is our last topic of the day. When the offers made by two persons to each other containing similar terms of bargain cross each other in post, they are known as cross offers. For example, on 1st Jan, A offered to sell his watch for rupees 2000 to B through a letter sent by post. On the same date, B also wrote to A making an offer to purchase A's watch for rupees 2000. When A or B sent their letters, they did not know about the offer which was being made by the other side. In these cross offers, even though both the parties intended the same bargain, there would arise no contract. A contract only arises if either A or B, after having the knowledge of the offer, had accepted the same. So, that's all for today. Stay tuned with Legal World and know the legal world. Thank you.